Okay, so yeah, so last time we talked all about layers and what else do we do? The crop tool, how to expand, how to expand the canvas. We talked about blend modes. We played with the brush tool, although I kind of went over that pretty fast. There's a lot more to the brush tool than, you know, than we did. Now we get into the fun stuff. Now we're gonna start making selections. We're going to make layer masks, doing masking. So I don't know if I can handle that. I know it is really exciting. So today is what is it? The 15th? Yes. Okay. Okay, let's talk about masks first. So last time we went, I showed you how to use the frame tool, which is allowed us to isolate a section. We had the image of the pears, and then I made a rectangular. Yeah, I took the frame tool and made a rectangle, and it kind of like stuck the image into that rectangle. And you can also do circles with the frame tool. So it's a handy tool, but layer masks are so much more powerful. We talked a little bit about this in Illustrator. Remember when I was demonstrating the opacity mask? Remember I had the ghost and then I put a gradient on top of it, and they, at the time, I said the thing to remember is that white reveals and black conceals. So that's the thing to keep in mind when we're creating a mask, is that we're actually, it's like we're adding another layer to, yeah, it's switchback. We're adding another layer to our document, and then we're using that to hide certain, well, it's not another layer. It's attached to a layer. I mean, you can make a layer that works on the whole document, but we're going to do it differently. It gives you, it's basically like a grayscale channel, so how we've got a red channel, a green channel, a blue channel, alpha channel. This is another channel that is interpreted as like a grayscale image, and depending on the color of the pixel, how white, how black, how gray it is, reveals or conceals parts of the image. So let me just demonstrate this. I've got this file here, and I've got all these. Let me open I've got the layers open. Okay, so we've got this sky image, this water image. We've got a giraffe, and we've got like a texture. Okay. What I want to do here I'm gonna add a layer mask to this image of the water. If I turn the sky, you can see that the sky is behind it, but I want to add it to the water. So I've got the water layer selected. So I'm gonna go to layer and I'm gonna say layer mask. And there's different ways to do it. This is one way, okay? Layer menu, layer mask, reveal all or hide all. I'm going to reveal all. Okay, so nothing really has happened because I said reveal all, but you'll notice now this image is linked with a an all white, an all white channel. And now if we remember that white reveals, black conceals, if I take my brush, I'm gonna hit B for brush. Right now, over in my swatches here, I can see that my foreground is white and my background is black. I want to switch that. I can either click on this double-headed arrow, or I can hit X on my keyboard. And I'm going to make my brush a lot bigger. And I'm painting now. I'm painting with black. That's kind of a hard edged brush, probably not the best. But notice in that thumbnail, now there's a black stripe across the top. Let me get my, how do I get the brush options again? I always forget this. Control option drag. I'm going to soften it. Control option drag will soften it. I'm going to control option grab somewhere. So it's a softer brush. So I'm painting, I kind of want it softer than that though. Let me go to my window, to my brush settings and hardness, bring it all the way. No, not, I want it at 0, yeah. Okay, no, okay, all right. Bring the size up. Size up even more. Oh, hello. No, that is so not proportional. Anyway, I'm gonna paint kind of like this. So I'm painting with black, so it's concealing the water image and revealing the layer underneath it. Okay, I could also, let me go back. I could also use my gradient tool. So I'm going to hit G. I'm going to click and drag. No, I don't want to click and drag up. I want to click and drag down. And that's giving me a nice effect. So now I'm getting the clouds in the sky of the image underneath. But I can now see the water, and I can go in because I have my gradient tool selected. I could, adjust this midpoint or adjust these end points. I'm gonna hold down shift so it stays in a nice vertical line. So there I have this, I have created a layer mask. So you can see, looking at this, this right here, that I have a black and white gradient that is revealing and concealing. Um, what was I gonna do? So looking at the layers panel, you can see there's like a link icon in between the actual thumbnail of the image and the mask. So you can, right now, if I had like my move tool or something, if I move this, it's going, I'm it's moving them both together at the same time. But if I unlink it, and then let's say I select the mask, now I'm just moving the mask and the image stays put. So, depending on what you're doing, you might want one or the other. If you want to hide the mask, you can hold down the shift key and click on the mask and notice it crosses it out. So it's still there. I haven't deleted it, so I haven't done anything destructive to my file, but I've hidden it so that I can see the full image. But I'm going to reveal it again, hold down shift and reveal it again. Let's make another one. Let's turn on this one here, the bottle. Okay. We haven't gone into making selections yet. But Photoshop has all of these AI tools that are pretty powerful. And, I have, as you've probably noticed, every time we have a tool selected, it's called the contextual toolbar, I think. It gives us some options here. And one of the options is select subject. So somehow magically, if I click on that, it knows what the subject of the photo is. So I just selected subject, and all of a sudden, they call them marching ants. I don't know, it's just the term for it. This dotted line that goes, it animates around the image. They're called marching ants, whatever. It's a good name. Yeah. They're ants and they march. So that's what's called a selection, and we'll get into selections later. So I've selected that one element, and I can make a mask out of that selection, and there's different ways to do it. I can go layer mask, reveal selection. I could do it that way. There's also an icon down and right here down in the layers panel. It's a rectangle with a circle in the middle. I can just click on that and that will automatically select that. It'll mask the selection that Photoshop just made for me. So now I can, do something with this. So let's say I want to transform it. So we have transformations, just like you had transformations in Illustrator, we have transformations in Photoshop. So if I click on that bottle layer, notice I get a bounding box around the whole thing. So it's selecting the entire mask, the entire image, even though we can't see all the parts of it. And then if I click in the corner up here, I can like rotate it a little bit maybe. And then I can move it and place it somewhere in there. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna hit return to, make that an official transformation. And then let's say I want to I'm gonna do a little bit of painting here. Select the brush tool. I've got black as my foreground color, so I can sort of like make it look like it's kind of floating in the water like that. And that has painted black onto the mask layer. It's okay. All right, looking pretty good. Let's do the next layer. Okay. So I've got this giraffe. Let's click on the giraffe. And this time, instead of select subject, which I could do, let's select remove background. Honestly, these algorithms like blow my mind. Like, how does Photoshop figure out what is the subject and what is, I mean, there's probably, the background pixels are kind of blurred and the subject is sharp. So that's probably how it's figuring out what's what. But let's just say remove background. And it did. And it automatically, so last time we got those marching ants around it. And then I had to create a mask out of that. But if you choose remove background, it automatically creates the mask for you. So now I'm going to say layer, and I want to, wait, no, select, damn it, where's transform? I always use shortcuts. Well, edit, transform, okay? Transform, and I'm going to choose edit transform, and I'm going to choose scale. And I'm going to bring this way down, like right about there. That's good. And then I'm going to put the giraffe in the bottle. Look at that. He's in the bottle. Isn't that cute?
Release him.
Oh my God. And it's a little too on the nose. I mean, I think I need to adjust the transparency a bit to make it look like, he's in the bottle. And I'll even add some transparency to the bottle, so you can kind of see the sky through it. So it looks like, there he is floating in, it's floating there. If I wanted, I could add a little bit of shadow. That would probably be nice if I added a little bit of shadow on the water's edge there. But for the sake of brevity, we'll skip that. And then I also have one thing. I've got this texture layer just for fun. I'll shoot the texture later and give it a blend mode. And I'm going to choose soft light. And I'm going to bring the opacity down on that bit, maybe a bit more. So it's got a little bit of texture there. So I've got This photo composition with, I've got 3 different layer masks going on in different places. And I've created this floating giraffe in a bottle. Pretty cool, huh? So it's very powerful. I mean, you can, it's much more powerful than just like with frames. You just make a rectangle or an ellipse. And I mean, it's a really quick and easy way to isolate parts of an image, but layer masks, you'll find that you make these all the time. And I like, for example, the one from the bottle, I made by first creating a selection with the marching ants. If I wanted to bring back that selection, I can simply hold down Command or Control and click on the mask, and that automatically selects. Yeah, I should probably crop the neck on that a little bit. But whatever, it's fine. Good for glass. Good for glass. So you can. We're not going to start it today, but your next project is going to be doing some sort of photo composite. Taking at least 3 different images and blending them together, masking them, creating some sort of effect by using all of these different techniques to create some sort of photo composite, some sort of composition. But we're not necessarily starting that today. We still have a few more skills to get through. So any questions so far? I should also say that when you do have something selected and you've got the marching ants going around, if you want it to go away, well, there's obviously a deselect button right here on the little bar. But Command D is the shortcut for deselecting something. Okay. Okay, moving on. Now let's talk about selections. Usually you're making a selection before you I'm kind of going in reverse here. Like usually you make a selection and then you make a mask out of it. But I introduced you to mask first, so whatever. It all relates. But let's talk about making selections. There's so many different ways to make selections. So I've got this sort of grayscale image here. I mean, selections are such a big part of Photoshop that it's actually after the Move tool, which is the first tool in the toolbar. It's the second one down is the Marquee tool. And if you click and hold on it, you'll see that there's different types. There's the rectangular and elliptical, a single row column and single row and single column, which just selects one row of. I don't really use that so much. I haven't used them very much. So I have the Marquee tool here. I can click and drag to make a selection. There it is. And then, there's various things I can do with it. I can delete it, which brings up the fill dialog box, so I can choose to fill it with foreground color, background color, another color, you know. I don't really want to do that. Um, uh, but once you have made a selection, I mean, this is something that takes time and practice, is making really good selections, especially like this is really easy. It's just a rectangle, blah, blah, blah. Okay, big deal. But you might be making selections of odd shaped items, or they might have soft edges or something like that. If you want to, and once you make a selection, you're not stuck with it. You can edit it, which you usually do. Um, so you can add to the selection, or you can take away from the selection. If you hold down the Option or Alt button, notice that the cursor changes, and then I'm going to drag again, and it deleted whatever I selected. So the minus symbol shows up, and that means I am removing pixels from that selection. If I hold down the shift, I get a plus sign. And now when I drag, it adds to the selection. So this is how you can go in and add and subtract. So to just kind of demonstrate how this is very handy, if I wanted to select all of the panes in this window, I could click and drag and choose the whole thing. And then I could hold down Option and just choose this middle section to get rid of it. Okay, and then do the same thing here. And then I have all of them. I didn't do a great job. My selection's kind of off. I'm going to show you better methods than this, but I just want to demonstrate that if this is an easier way than like setting up guides to make sure I'm, the same on all of the borders and whatnot. So it's, again, it's Option or Alt and then Shift to add and subtract from your selection. And then what I can do from here, again, I didn't make a very good selection, but I'm going to ignore that. I can manipulate what's inside of that selection. There's something called a fill layer. So I'm going to go Layer and then New Fill Layer. And I got color, gradient, and pattern to choose from. I'm gonna go with color. And I'll give it a name, window. And color, I can choose one of these, or I can, let's just say seafoam. I can change that later. And I can fill that with some sort of color like that. Okay. You can see here where I didn't quite nail that selection, but yeah, so I've created a fill layer using that selection. I'm going to hide that for now. Another way to make a selection is to use the lasso tools. So the third tool down in the toolbar will give you the lasso tools. This is a very free-form way to make a selection. So if I wanted to like select like just the shoulders of the woman, I'm going to start down in the corner here and you'll see why. I'm going to click and I'm just going to draw. And it's okay if I mess up because, oops. Oh. Well, it's okay. That's okay too. That's okay too, because I can still use my, the add and subtract. So let's say you didn't complete your selection. Now I can hold down shift. I get the plus sign and then I can drag and make more of a shape. I'm doing a terrible job because I'm on a trackpad. And then I'm going to come back here. I'm just going to let go there. And it added on there. And then I want to add here and I only really need to worry about the edges. I don't have to worry about the inside part. I want to get rid of this. I hold down Option or Alt. Oh, crap. Oh, Christ. I totally lost it. Yeah, it takes practice. It takes practice, but that's how I would that's how you would use the lasso too. It's a little rudimentary, but it's there. What happened? Did I just click over to zoom or something? Huh, that's weird. Okay. Let me hold Option, come around there, Option, around there, Shift, let's get this little bit of shoulder here, come around, and that's much better. And actually I want to grab this section here. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing. I'll make a fill layer. And red, okay. I'll make it like a dark green or something. Okay. And then I've got, okay, so now I'm applying color to her. Oh, that's what that color thing is. It color codes the layer. That's really handy. I didn't point this out last week when we were going over layers, but a lot of times your file can get like, there's just so many layers in there and you can color code them. I think if you just like right click on it, color right down here, it adds, that's what, okay, all right, no color. I'm going to say no color for these. Color, no color. Okay. That's what that color was all about. Okay. Okay, so that's the standard lasso tool. You just draw. You just draw with your mouse or your trackpad or your tablet or whatever. But there's different types. There's also the polygonal lasso tool. And this one is not a click and drag. It's a click, 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 every time you click, you make a new straight line, and then when you get back to the origin point, the starting point, once you hover over that, you'll see that the icon all of a sudden has a circle. That's telling you that your next click will complete that selection. So if I click that now, I have completed that selection. I'm going to deselect that, and I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to use that. Oops, nope, I didn't want to do that. To select this tree. So I'm going to click, click, click. Now, also, whenever you're using a tool in Photoshop, I'm getting a very specific icon for my cursor. But if you want a more precise cursor, you can turn on the caps lock, and nothing happened. Okay. I lied. Usually if you turn on caps lock, you get like crosshairs or some sort of more precise. And then if I hold down shift, I can move, I can make sure that I'm getting, you know, vertical or horizontal lines. And then here, and here, here. And then I get the circle, so I know I've made it. Great. And then we'll make sure that's selected. And then do another fill layer, solid color. Green. And we'll do another green of some sort. Okay. All right. So I've got that. Okay, I'm gonna hide that too. And the other lasso tool that is, I like a lot. I use it a lot. It's a magnetic, it's called the magnetic lasso tool. And in this case, yeah, now, okay, now the caps lock thing is freaking working. Okay, fine. Okay. What this does is that it can detect edges. So you need sharp edges for this to be effective. You know, if you've got blurry, feathery edges, it's not gonna have as much of an effect. But I'm going to use my brackets to increase the size. And now I'm just clicking once, and then it's got kind of a radius, so it's showing me, you know, the area that's looking at, and I'm just dragging. I'm not even dragging it. I'm just moving the mouse. I just clicked once, and it's laying down like anchor points at where it detects edges. And then when I get to this part here, I kind of want to change direction. So I am actually going to click to set one, and then come and click again, and then come back this way. And then I'm going to do that again. I'm going to ignore that right there. I'm going to come up here and click and click. And it's doing a pretty good job of detecting, you know, the light from dark, basically, which is what I want it to do. And I come to the top, and you kind of need to go a little slow. You don't want to hurry it. And then there I've got a good selection of the hair, and then I'll give that some color. Name it. She's gonna have orange hair. Yeah. There we go. There we go. All right. Why is that? I'm gonna put that up here so it can be. Okay, and then I can turn the shoulders back on and we can see, and I can turn the window on. I can turn the tree on, put it above the window, and I have basically colorized this grayscale image. Amazing, right? Okay. You can also save your selections. So if I go up to the hair one, and I'm gonna do the whole thing again where it's command click to load a select. So the mask is the black and white thumbnail. I'm gonna command or control click on that, and it brings up the marching ants and tells me that I have that area selected. I can save that selection to use later. So I'm going to say select and go down to save selection, name it hair, and click OK. And then I'll deselect it. And now if I go to my channels, you'll see here, it has created a channel for that selection. So, this is a good habit to get into because you could work a long time, like finally detailing your selection. You don't want to lose it. So saving your selections, it doesn't take up that much, file space, and you're you're not going to be shooting yourself in the foot later on if you accidentally deselect it, and then you're like, damn, there goes an hour of my life. Okay. Okay. So those are the lasso tools. Let's move on to something a little more complicated. Okay. This is my little sheepy. This is gonna be a trickier selection because we were looking at crisp lines before, and now if I wanted to select this sheep, and look at that. Hair. Oh God, hair. Okay, in Photoshop, this has been the bane of every designer's existence for years and years and years. The Photoshop has so many new and like really powerful tools that assist you in making very complicated selections. Like, how do you isolate all of this fur from the green background? It used to be, a nightmare, and using AI technology, they've made it a lot more reasonable. So, okay, so once again, we've got our sometimes useful, sometimes annoying contextual toolbar right here. And we've got select subject as an option. So let's do that. I'm going to select subject, and that happened pretty quickly. And we can see, oh, go away. You know, we can see it made a selection out you know, it's done a fairly good job of selecting it. If we created the mask, you know, we can if you want to see just the mask in black and white, you can shift, no, turn that off, turn this off. Wait, how do I, crap, forgot how to do that. Oh, we have to go to channels. Yeah, channels. We can just turn on this, turn all these off, and we can see that's the selection that it has made. Okay, all right, that's, you know, it's doable. But let's do it a different way. There's actually two, I'm gonna deselect this, Command D. There's actually two different modes in the whole select subject image processing. And there's device and there's cloud. Don't ask me why there are two and how they work differently. I don't fully understand. I just know that device mode, it's faster, but it's not quite as accurate as cloud mode. So to switch over, if you go to file, or no, I'm sorry, Photoshop, and then depending on if you're on a Mac or PC Macs, it's under settings. I think on PCs it's under preferences in the Photoshop menu. And then you go down to image processing. Okay, go down to image processing. And then here, right here under image processing, select subject and remove background. It gives you the choice between device and cloud. So I'm going to switch it over to cloud. Okay, and it's giving me, you know, this warning that's gonna take more it requires more processing power, but you are gonna get a better effect. It just depends on, you know, like what image you're using. Do you really need, you know, if it's got crisp lines, you don't really need to use this, but like in this example, it's, yeah. So now I'm going to say select subject, and it's taking a little bit more time, but now if I turn this into a mask, excuse me. And if we zoom in, I mean, we've still got some green area, but it, if we look at the channels, you know, we turn this on, turn these off, that's a lot more detailed than what we had before. There's a lot of more sort of grayscale and filaments and hair, you know, hair definition and things like that. So it's it does a really good job, actually. I'm impressed, considering I used to have to do it the old-fashioned way. I don't really want a mask. Why did I make a mask out of that? Okay, I'm gonna command click on the mask and then I'm going to delete it. Well, first I want to save it again. Save your selections. Um, you'll thank me later. I'm gonna drag this to the trash to get rid of it. Delete. Okay. All right. There's also no, never mind. I'm not gonna go there. Okay. I'm gonna jump ahead a bit. We're not actually gonna get into adjustment layers today. But I want to show you, like why these are so powerful. There's a icon right next to the layer mask icon. It's like a circle that's half black and half white. And that allows you to create an adjustment layer. And there's all different kinds of adjustment layers. And this allows you to make non-destructive edits to your image. So you can adjust things like exposure and color and contrast without actually deleting pixels or manipulating pixels or anything like that. It's a adjustment layer. So I'm going to choose here hue saturation. So my goal here is to take some of the yellow out of this this sheep's fur. So notice it's made a new layer. And because I had a selection active when I made that adjustment layer, it created a mask for me automatically, which is great. And now if I in the properties here, automatically the hue saturation controls pop up. And now I can adjust the hue, I can touch the saturation. So I'm going to take the saturation down, down. So now it's basically a grayscale image, this sheep. I mean, I'll crank it up in a bit. I don't want it fully grayscale, but I'll show you why I'm doing that. Now I can go in and there are parts of this that like there's some color around the feet here that didn't get selected with the selection option. So I can, as long as I have the mask targeted, I can use my brush tool and I can go in and I'm gonna paint with white because I want to add it to the mask, right? Am I doing that right? If I hit X, it changes my foreground and background. And so now these little tiny little sections, I don't want to paint the grass. I just want to make, there's a little bit of yellow in here. I just want to make sure that all of the sheep is selected. So I'm going in here and touching up those areas there. Okay, that's good. Good enough. And then I'll click on the layer again to get back to the properties panel. And I'm going to put some of that color back in. I don't want to go all the way. I just want, I want it to be realistic. But I also don't want to lose the color in the eyes. So I'm going to once again click on the mask for the adjustment layer. And with my brush tool, this time I want to paint with black so that it doesn't, it's not being affected by the adjustment layer. So I'm painting with black to bring full color back to his eyes. And there we go. And I can, review, before, after, before, after, before, after, So yeah, I think it did a really good job considering how complicated that edge is there with all of that fur. Yeah. Okay. So far, so good? Am I going too fast? Okay. All right. All right. All right. We're gonna go over one or, well, actually maybe two more ways to make maybe three make selections. Okay. There's also, and this tool wasn't around when I was working freelance, so it's kind of blows my mind. It's like it's pretty freaking incredible if I can find it. Crap. It's the object selection tool. Crap, where is it? I think it's this one right here. Yes, object selection tool. So we're working our way down the toolbar. It's underneath the lasso, the lasso tools. It's the object selection tool. And again, it uses magic AI. It actually analyzes the image and determines this is an object and this is an object and this is an object, and it's mind-blowing. It's just amazing. So I have that tool selected, and now as I roll over, it actually understands that each of these are separate buildings. Amazing, right? I mean, it doesn't do a great job on the background. And it doesn't even recognize any of this foreground here, but just yeah, I'm blown away. Okay, so I can use this object selection tool, and I'm going to click on an object, and it selected it. And then I can click on more than one. So if I hold down Shift and click on another one, now I have these two cabins selected. And let's see, what can we do with this? Let's play again with adjustment, using an adjustment layer. Okay. I'm going to choose once again the same one, hue saturation. Okay, and it created the mask for me. But in this case, I want to change the hue, but I don't. I don't want to change the roof. I just want to change the red. So, if I think it's hold down the command key, and I need to make sure that, let me try this first and see if that's working. No, I've got to have the properties selected, I believe. Command and drag. Crap, this isn't gonna work, is it? I want to use the targeted adjustment tool. No, damn it. I did this earlier and it worked. It allowed me to just adjust the red by just clicking on the red. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I don't remember exactly what I did. What, how did I, in my notes here, it says, is it control drag? No. Do I have to click on the mask? Do I have the wrong tool selected? Where did that come from? What is that all about? No. Okay. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I did it earlier and it worked, and no. Okay. All right. All right. Moving on. Okay. Sometimes you want to make a selection based on color. So, for example, I could use the object selection tool here, and I roll over the flower and it'll choose the whole object for me. But I might not want that, because let's say I want to change the hue. I choose that and I make it pinker, and it's also adjusting the color of the stock, and that's not what I'm going for. So what I can do, and there's various ways to do this. The classic one is the magic wand tool, which is where? No. Where the crap is the magic wand tool? Damn it. Chanel, help me out. You know where it is. Where the hell is the magic wand tool?
If you expand the menu, you should be able to find it.
I expand the menu.
Click the three little dots underneath the magnifying glass on the toolbar.
Oh, what? This here? No.
No, move your cursor down.
Oh,
Down.
no. Oh, this guy right here. Yeah. Edit. That's edit toolbar. I don't want to edit the toolbar. The hell is it the magnifying glass? No. No. Go away. What is going on here? Yeah, you would. Yeah, the magic one, where is it? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. It's because that tool is new to me. Okay, all right. It's Magic Wand. Okay, yeah, okay. So Magic Wand tool allows you to click on a pixel and then it chooses all the pixels of the same color within a certain tolerance level. You can give it a certain tolerance level. And all the ones nearby, it will select all of those. So if I click on this fuzzy area here, um, it selects all the pixels of similar color and makes a selection out of it. If I hold down the shift and click somewhere else in the image, it keeps adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. And it's, it's a classic tool in Photoshop. It's been around a long time. Um, but they've made some um uh progress on this part. So let's say I I could choose the purple area in the that bar again in the flower, and then I could hold down the shift and choose another purple area. Again, this method is gonna get a little tedious. I mean, I could increase the tolerance, make it like 150, and then it would, oops, um, yeah, that's way too much. I'll set it back to 32. But yeah, it can get a little tedious. It's good for flat areas of color. So like if you have like a logo or like a vector-based illustration or something like that, it's really good for choosing, just a flat area color. In this case, um, well, um, we can also see, Daisy, what did I just do? What is that? What is that? What did I add? Jeez, I added something. Okay. You can also use color range. So I'm going to go up to select and I'm going to choose color range, and I get this image right here. So this is, it's a black and white image, so it's kind of telling me that it's going to function like a mask. And then I've got this eyedropper tool, so I can go in and choose a color from the image, and it's analyzing the whole image and choosing all of its similar colors. And I can adjust the fuzziness of the selection. I can add to it, so I can choose there's a eyedropper with a plus sign right there. There's an eyedropper with a minus sign, so I could remove colors from it. But now I know that I'm just getting that those purples that I want, and it's not selecting the stock or the background or anything like that. So okay, I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna say okay. And now I have a selection. Looks like it selected some stuff down below. I don't know. But anyway, now I could take this in and do like a hue saturation. And now if I wanted to make it pinker or more purple, I'm adjusting just the flower and not the stalk. So whereas the object tool recognized the whole thing as one object, this is just choosing a color range. So I can make selections that way. Okay, any questions? This is fun. Pretty cool, right? Pretty powerful. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff. We haven't even gone into like photo retouching. Oh, I mean, I guess this is photo retouching, but like duplicating patterns and things like that. We'll probably do that on Thursday, but I think that is where I want to stop it today. And I'll put all these files are in Canvas, so if you want to practice with them, you can go in and reproduce what I've done. And then I guess just start thinking about what kind of, I mean, it's such a wide open project. It's a photo composition, photo compositing, you know, you can do anything. You saw how quick and easy I put a giraffe in a bottle and floated it in the ocean. I mean, you can really, really do anything. You can use photos that you take, you can use stock images. I have a pretty extensive list of free stock photo sites that I will post in Canvas so you can, like, there's just so much out there. And then you have Adobe stock that you can use too. Just keep in mind with Adobe stock that you have an this doesn't pertain to this class really, but you have an education license. So if you were doing something and getting paid for it, like somebody hired you to do a project, you can't use those are copyrighted with it an education license. If you had a professional license, you could use them, but I mean, for class purposes, totally fine. So yeah, so just think about, get creative. I'm not really setting any specifics on like what size it has to be and things like that. But I do want you to incorporate at least 3 images. And I want you to be using selections and masks, and adjustment layers. Will go more into adjustment layers on Thursday. And yeah, just get really creative with it. I mean, you're welcome to sketch things, draw, paint, I do want you to incorporate images, but if you want to fit, I think on Thursday too, we'll play around a little bit with text. If you wanted to incorporate text, do that. We'll learn how to put images like inside of text characters and stuff like that, which can be pretty cool. You can lay down some text and then turn the text into a map so that, it's like a cookie cutter, it stamps out the image. I've created some pretty cool stuff that way in the past. And yeah. Okay. All right. That's all I've got for today. I thought that was pretty technical, so I don't want to overwhelm you with tons of stuff, so. And yeah, all right. Thank you for joining me.